Welcome to Less Lethal Defense. I'm Seth, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Streetwise Smart 24 million volt Keychain Stun Gun. In full transparency, I want to let you know that Streetwise did actually send me this stun gun free of charge. I did not make any promises to the company about a positive review. They are not paying me. I have very high ethics and morals when it comes to these reviews. I will test them to all of my abilities. I will not take shortcuts, and I will give you, my viewers, a full and honest review of each one of these products. With that being said, let's get into it. Let's talk about the company a little bit. It all goes back to 1990 with a man named Ray Gilbreth. I think I'm saying that wrong. If I'm not, I apologize, Ray. So he was working at a homeless shelter for youth, and unfortunately it closed. Ray needing to make money, he ended up selling pepper spray out of the trunk of his car throughout North Carolina. He did so well that he was able to found his company in Wintersville, North Carolina, called Cutting Edge Products. Eventually, the company developed bigger, and they became Streetwise security products. They still go by both names, but on the products, you'll see them called Streetwise security products. And I'm going to just refer to them as Streetwise, makes it a little bit easier. So I got to know Ray through correspondence, and I was really impressed with him. So the company as a whole, they actually donate 10% of all their profits to several nonprofit organizations, and I'll list those below. I thought that was pretty cool, giving back. And getting to know Ray, I was able to find out that he is a Christian man. But not only is he a Christian man, he has incorporated his faith into the business, and he encourages his employees to have the same values, which is pretty unusual nowadays. A lot of companies aren't willing to take a stand like that and put out there to the public that they're faith-based. So I thought that was admirable that he was willing to stand behind his convictions. He also is a member of an organization called C12, which is the country's largest Christian business CEOs roundtable. And what they do is they get together and they talk about business, they incorporate in their faith, and they try to improve their businesses and other businesses through that, which I thought was pretty neat. And this is all available on his websites and several news articles I found. So this isn't something he's trying to hide. He is very public about this. So one thing about Streetwise is they actually don't sell their products to the public. They actually sell them, they're a wholesaler. So they manufacture their products and then they have other people sell them for them. So you can't directly buy from them, but you'll see the link in the description where you can go to their website and find a dealer close to you, someone you trust, and or someone local, so you can buy their products. So they have tons of them. And their mission statement, which I really liked, was we provide wholesale security, safety, and self-defense products for businesses to empower their customers to protect what matters to them, which I thought was pretty awesome. Pretty good, business model. So as a whole, I am a big fan of Streetwise. Now, doing some other research, I did find out that a lot of the products are manufactured overseas. They are not manufactured in the United States, which isn't too uncommon, but you'd be surprised to learn that some of his products are also being manufactured by the same companies that manufacture products like some of the other bigger name companies. So I'm not going to get into that into detail, but when I did the research, I found out that the manufacturers in China and other countries are the same ones that these other companies use. So it's really not that uncommon. Some companies will manufacture components in the United States, but then they'll also have other components manufactured in other countries. So it's not American made, but the innovation that comes from the Streetwise products is American made, if that makes any sense to you. So that's a little bit of information about the company. Pretty good. I like it. Let's see what its products can do. All right, so let's take a look. We got the Streetwise Smart 24 million Keychain Stun Gun. It's really a mouthful. I'm gonna just call it the Smart Keychain. Make it a little bit easier. I really do like their motto right there on the bottom here, protecting what matters most, which is yourself, your family. Pretty awesome. They do offer a lifetime warranty. As I was looking over the box, I was just noticing a couple things. It does say here, made in China, so we did talk about that. So it is transparent right there. And then, so another thing that I did notice here, and I really appreciate the fact that they even put this on here. So if you did notice, I don't know if you noticed, but at the end of the 24 million, there's an asterisk. And usually when there's an asterisk, it means there's something more to read about it. So on the side of the box here, it actually says, you know, there's an asterisk. Actual voltage output is difficult to measure and verify, but this unit compares to other brands that claim to be 24 million or more volts. What does that mean? Well, to be honest, when it comes to stun guns, voltage is not how you're supposed to actually measure them. You're supposed to measure them on them with microcoulombs, which is a whole different measurement of power. But a lot of companies will advertise like millions and billions of volts, but honestly, these products can't actually produce that. And volts are not what's going to kill you. It's microcoulombs, if I'm even saying that right. It's hard to get into, and I don't want to bog down this video about it, but they're actually really transparent about that. So we'll just move past it for now. So what this is a flashlight that is also a stun gun. You can tell it is very small. Let's get a little closer to the Smart Keychain Stun Gun. It's extremely light, only weighs 1.30 ounces, and it fits pretty small in my hand, easily to conceal. It does have this loop on the bottom that does connect to the keychain that it does come with. Also could be connected to a purse, a carabiner, many different options to carry. It doesn't have a case, so you could probably make one or buy something to hide it in. But it's, like I said, it's so small, I wouldn't really worry about a case. So on this side, we do have the stun activation, this button right here. So you have to activate the light and then the stun activation button. And now, if you don't activate the light, it will not turn on. Okay. On top here, you do have the stun contact probes. That is the little spikes there. So that is where you're going to want to touch your attacker and they will be electrocuted. Not bad. Size is great. Super easy. Anyone can use it. With the sensor here, it will work with gloves on. So even if you're wearing gloves or maybe like, let's say like a sweatshirt kind of fell over your hand and you touched it, it still will go off. And it takes very little pressure at all to activate it. The sensor is just pretty intelligent here. The flashlight is LED. I don't know how many lumens, but we're going to go ahead and turn the lights off and see how well it works. So the lights are off. Let's go ahead and activate the flashlight. Well, not too bad for an LED light. Like I said, I don't know what the lumens are, but it's handling its own. Pretty able to identify my display over there. It's going to work. That's really all that matters. Being so small, I doubt it's going to have really great distance, but we're not looking for a long-range flashlight. For something that you're going to have attached to your keys or, like I said, in a purse. You're just going to be able to want to identify the threat. You can actually see that the entire top of this thing is kind of glowing, which is pretty neat. It does come in different colors as well. Let's go ahead and activate the charge here, and you get a chance to see that. Now you can see those probes being off aligned. Like I said, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. And you can see that the electricity is also shooting off of one of the screws. It's kind of, yeah, so the flashlight works. It's time for everyone's favorite part of these reviews, the live demonstration. I'm going to be putting the smart keychain through its paces. It's going to be fully charged up, and I'm going to be doing 3 different tests with it to start for the first live demonstration. I'm going to be wearing a couple different types of clothes. First is going to be a thick parka, something you're going to wear when it's snowing or when it's cold, or just when it's raining. And then I'll switch to my black sweatshirt, kind of my trademark sweatshirt that you always see me wearing. So, and you know, it's just a typical sweatshirt. And then lastly, if it can penetrate all of that, I'm gonna do the knife hold. You've seen me done this fast. I will just hold my arm out like this. Imagine the stun gun is a knife, and we will just touch it to my skin and see whether or not it'll cause me to drop the knife. Once again, this is a fake knife, not a real one. And remember, kids, I am not a trained professional. I am just an idiot doing reviews online. So please don't do this at home. So let's get to it. Nothing. Try again. What's that one? Try maybe lower. Nope. Oh! All right. Felt that.
You want more of that?
Nope. Nope. That's good. Oh man. Ooh. Ooh. My arm is warm. Okay. You saw from the first video that the parka did not allow any electricity to penetrate. So there was no pain. I didn't feel anything other than extremely hot. Switching to the black sweatshirt, it definitely made its way through, bit me quite well. You saw that. It hurt, and I didn't like it. Now with the knife, I was not really surprised that I didn't drop the knife. I kind of expected that to happen. So far with my experience, unlike what you'd see on TV, the electricity doesn't cause you to open. It usually causes you to actually hold tighter because you're constricting the muscles. That's the whole idea. When the electricity touches you, it constricts muscles and causes pain. So, you're going to see that in movies and TV where people are like, oh, they get stunned and they drop. Yeah, I'll drop it afterwards because of the pain, not during it. I'm actually going to hold it tighter during it. So that was a pretty good test. Now our second live demonstration is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to have Adam on the ground like I have attacked him and knocked him to the ground. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate trying to like choke him. And that's where he'll have the smart keychain, and he will then be authorized to use it to get me off of him. So he's got carte blanche to activate and shock me as many times as it takes to get me off him. Now, I am pretty big compared to him, so we'll see what happens. Once again, I am not actually choking him, and I'm not putting all my weight on him either, just so I'm trying not to hurt him. But it is a pretty realistic type of situation where someone has maybe attacked you, knocked you to the ground, and is trying to choke you. And you're going to try to get that attacker off as soon as possible. So let's see what happens. Also, remember, kids, I am not a trained professional. I am just a guy who does reviews online. I am stupid. Please do not do this at home.
I know.
That was another great test. It took Adam 3 different activations to finally get me off of him. He hit me twice in the arm and then once in the chest. And that was enough to get me to fall back, and I actually hit my head on the fence. Don't worry, I'm fine. But you can actually hear that whack in the background. So it did work well. So that was a good test. If you were, being choked, I'd highly recommend going for like the neck, the face. I have my own limitations on what I want to do at this point with this, but the test did prove that you could get someone off of you. You could see that Adam did struggle a little bit with getting activations at the beginning. He did not have time to practice. I gave it to him the day that we filmed. So if this was something you bought, I would definitely recommend, getting the light activated and then practice so that, with any self-defense tool you want to practice. So that was a pretty good test. Now moving on to our next test, we're going to simulate someone trying to steal a bag from you. So Adam's going to be walking and I'm going to attempt to steal his bag, and he will have the stun gun and he can just let loose on me as many times as he wants to stop me from taking his bag. So I think that's kind of a realistic, like a snatch and grab type of event, or, maybe you're just, someone tries to rob you, grab your thing. So let's see how well that works. That test was a lot different than I had planned. So you saw that he did shock me a couple times, but I ended up running into his fence, and unfortunately I did break one of the boards. I was running from pain. So thankfully, we fixed the fence. No harm, no foul. But we did learn something. Now, you'll remember I was talking about how the probes here were not aligned. Well, what happened when he went to shock me, it actually caught up in my sweatshirt, and I have not repaired it at all. So it's exactly like it was when it happened, because I wanted everyone to be able to see that. So I'm going to take a pause really quick, and I'm going to show you exactly what happened to it and the outcome of that. Okay, so we can see here, the probes are not aligned. So this is the probe that caught, and you can see that it wiggles right there. So it does have just a simple screw that does hold it in, and that is also loose. So it caught on the sweater and it just pulled it. Now, I'm going to activate it again just to show you it still does work, but you can see the electricity is also coming off that top screw. So, that was something that we learned. Now, keep in mind, this product is have a lifetime warranty, so it can be sent back. But you could also just screw that screw back in, and it should be fine. If you had to use this in a self-defense situation, there's a good chance that the police could take it away from you as evidence, or you just may not want to keep it because it reminds you of that. So you could send it back, like I said, or fix it. But it was an interesting outcome to that test. So just something to keep in mind for the future, folks. I really did want to recreate that last scenario again, but unfortunately I had a problem. And it wasn't with the smart keychain, even with the bent probe and the loosened screw. It was actually with myself. I got too much in my head. So, like a real situation, I want to be surprised. And I wasn't surprised anymore. We've been filming this all day, and I had been lectured a lot of times. Some of it didn't make the final roll, several different angles, testing it out, things like that. And I predicted it was going to happen, and so I was flinching, I was being hesitant, I wasn't just giving it my full. And I apologize I couldn't recreate that last one, but I think I gathered enough data that I'm ready to give my final review and rating. Let's go over the pros and cons of the smart keychain. Pros start first. I really like the strength of the flashlight. It's great all around. It's going to work whether you're going to be using it as a utility flashlight, it's going to be in self-defense, you're walking your dog at night, whatever. It's a good solid flashlight. pretty strong. Considering the battery size, I like it. Rechargeable is great. The universal plug, any plug will work here. I did try several other ones, so that's nice. So if you accidentally lose it, not a problem to replace it. Super easy to use. Anyone can use this. Disclaimer, if you're keeping this on your keychain, make sure you keep it out of the reach of children and those who are not trained, because it's very easy to activate this on yourself. There aren't a lot of safeguards, and I could literally just electrocute myself right now. So a child could easily figure this out. But still pro, so even people who have like hand issues, not going to be an issue to use that. The lightweightness of it, this thing weighs less than your cell phone does at 1.30 ounces, like I said before. The clip that they've included allows you to carry it different ways. Very nice. Lifetime warranty is good. The power indicator. So a lot of devices, they just have like a red light that means charge and like a green light that means it's charged. So red, you need to charge it. Green, you're good to go. Well, I can just touch this thing and be like, oh, we're good to go. Versus like, if it's only got 2 lights, I'm like, oh, maybe I should throw some charger overnight. So I like that because you want to have this thing like totally charged out. I like how small it is. It does just conceal super easily. So, you could be sitting there talking to someone who's getting a little, aggressive, and you're ready to go and they don't really see it. It does come in a couple different other colors too. So if blue isn't your style, there's black, I believe there's pink, might be a couple other options. You'll check it out. So, yeah. And from the demonstrations, it definitely does work. I can attest to the pain that it caused me. Electricity, it works. And even with the probe being bent, I could easily fix this. And I think that could really happen with any of these because they do use the probes as the way to arc, and electricity can only connect between so much distance. So it's just going to happen. This could happen to any tool. So just keep that in mind, but still pro. Now I do have some cons. First being one of the things I liked, which is the light. You have to activate the light. There's no way to activate the light if you want electricity. So if you did want something a little bit more covert, unfortunately, that's not an option. But it is what it is. A lot of them do have the light activation first. It is a requirement. It's kind of like a safety. You have to press one side before you press the other. But the issue is also with the light is every time you're activating it, you are running the battery. And it was very easily to just touch it. You saw throughout the video, it was going off constantly, and I wasn't intentionally doing that. So it's burning the battery, which means that you're not going to be having that full voltage. So I wish it wasn't as sensitive. I do appreciate how easy it is to use, but it's going to be a con for me. Another thing is the material they use. So it's just a plastic, but it is very smooth. And even when your fingers are in the grip here, it could easily slide out of your hand, whether it's just be the oils from your skin, water. I'd be a little bit worried about that. It doesn't come with a lanyard or anything to hold on to. So people with hands like mine or bigger hands could easily lose this thing too. So, I wish they would put some sort of like stippling or some grooves on it, because it doesn't go into a holster and it really doesn't go into a purse. So it's going to be something you're going to have on your keychain or readily available. So having something to just kind of give you a little bit more grip. And I'm not saying making it bigger, but just a little bit something to hold on to. So that's going to be a con. Distance. You are limited to the length of your arm. And that is a lot closer than I would want. That would be the danger zone. Yeah, I would prefer to have more distance. And unfortunately, with all stun guns, without stepping up to a taser, you are limited by range. So not a big fan of that. I don't want people to be that close to me. Another thing, and this isn't particularly for Streetwise as it is for all stun guns, or most stun guns, I'll say most stun guns, is they like to advertise the arc and the noise as a deterrent. So I show it to you, I'm like, back up, They see it, they get scared and like, hey, I don't want any business. It kind of reminds me of the saying where people are like, oh, take your shotgun and just rack around and that'll scare someone away. That's not what it's there for. Yes, does a noise and seeing it possibly deter someone? Yes, but it also takes away your element of surprise. And you want that on your side. So if I'm out here saying, hey, back up, get away from me, well, I'm, one, reaching my arm out, which allows someone to grab it or knock it away. The noise, you know, everyone knows what that noise is. I mean, this is universal for you are about to be in some pain. I mean, you walk around in a mall and you just go like this, people are going to start jumping because they all know that noise. Because I think everyone in the world's been electrocuted at least once. It's not pleasurable, but I don't like that they want you to, you know, put it out there as, oh yeah, get away, I have this. I mean, granted, it's fine, you know, to do it, but I prefer like when Adam was on top of me, or when I was on top of Adam, choking him, he could just slam me with it. I didn't even know he had it. And yes, I did hear it, but it was so quick that along with the surprise came with the pain, the noise, like it all just overwhelmed the senses. So, you know, I'm not saying that's what Groupwise advertises. They don't say like you know, just arc it, but a lot of stun gun companies will. So, you know, that's that. Other than that, I don't really have a lot of other cons for this. The price point's pretty good. I found it as low as about $18 online. Remember that Streetwise is a wholesaler, so they sell their products to a lot of different companies. It's still the same product, but everyone has a different price point. So you can get it for more expensive or less expensive. Just depends on where you buy it, where you find it. So I think that's reasonable. I'd pay $18 for this thing. Yeah, so as for the rating, this one's hard for me because it's not the best product on the market. It's not the worst product on the market. My rating system, for those of you who don't know, is 10 is the best. I would buy one for my friends and family, carry on myself, and 0 is I would throw that thing in the trash because no one should ever use it. I am going to give the Smart Keychain Stun Gun 24 million volt a 5. Pretty neutral, sits in between. It's a good option. Not the best, but it'll work. If you decide this is the tool that you want, check out my link. It'll take you to Streetwise and you can find a distributor who sells it. Also, make sure you practice with all of your tools. Practice. Get used to finding those buttons. Get used to holding it. Get in a position that you can defend yourself. Hand up, protect the face, keep it close, and keep it out of the reach of children, animals, anything like that. And also, remember, keep it charged. I hope this helped. You folks have a good day and stay safe. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and make sure notifications are turned on. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. If you have any questions, comments, or there's a product you'd like to see me review, send me an email. And until I post the next review, stay safe.